Am I the asshole for telling my sister I hope she never has kids? I'm 22 female. I have 3 twin boys and I had a baby girl not even 2 days ago. My sister, Jody, is 34 and has been suffering with infertility for the past 10 years, as well as repeated miscarriages. I used to feel really bad for her and also a bit guilty as I got pregnant twice while being on contraception. It caused some tension between us when I was pregnant with my twins because she was jealous, and I was already feeling intense guilt. This time around, she wasn't as jealous, but I still felt it was unfair. As my husband and I have decided we are done having kids, I offered to be a surrogate for my sister as soon as I'm cleared after this baby, and she seemed like she was absolutely over the moon with that. In turn, she offered to watch the twins while I was in labor with my new baby, which was a relief on my part. I went into labor on Thursday morning, and Jody came over to watch the kids while my husband and I went to the hospital. She seemed like she was in a great mood, and promptly rushed us out the door. Everything seemed fine, until we got home this morning to find thousands worth of destruction to pretty much every baby item we purchased. Even the crib mattress was torn open. Everything was ruined. Jody tried to pin it on the twins, but they're 3, and this level of destruction had to have been done by an adult. My twins can't even reach some of the stuff that was destroyed, and they certainly do not know how to open diaper packages and tear them apart. I know kids, especially toddlers, can do a lot of damage in a short time, but I also know my children aren't capable of doing what happened. I told my sister to get the fuck out of my home and stay away from me and my family. I got really angry, and I said a lot of stuff I shouldn't have, but one of them was, "I hope you never have a child, and if you do then I'll tell it exactly what you've done to mine." I told her we can't afford to fix the damage she's caused, but since she still denies it, she won't cough up. I told her because of her the baby doesn't even have a safe space to sleep. My parents caught wind of what I said, and even after I explained the situation, they still think I'm being an asshole for saying something so vile to my sister. After all she's done for us, obviously my judgment is clouded, so am I an asshole? Not the asshole. Your sister flew into a jealous rage when faced with all the things she wants and doesn't have. Can you imagine how terrifying that was for your twins? Those poor babies. Not the asshole. You might want to call the police and at least get a report filed for the destruction of property if it isn't too late. Then you can file an insurance claim. You realize that your children aren't safe around your sister, right? She needs help. Immediate help. Are your parents aware that their daughter destroyed their grandchild's bed? And clothing? And diapers? She ruined everything that your new baby was supposed to use because she can't physically have kids herself. Why hasn't she adopted if she wants a kid that badly? You're not the asshole at all, and genuinely I hope you press charges. Someone with 2 brain cells would be able to tell that pair of toddlers wouldn't be able to do that. Am I the asshole for telling my sister the truth about why I moved out the day I turned 18? When I, 23 female, was 10 years old, my parents divorced. My dad was so mean in the way he spoke to my mom. He always made her do all the housework and difficult parenting, but would swoop in to be the fun parent and apologize to my siblings and I for her behavior. If I'm honest, for a while I believed all the things he said about my mom, and I hated her for years. I still feel so guilty about it too. My dad's friend was my mother's boss at the time of their separation. I don't know if my dad got mom fired, but I assume he did because she lost her job the day after she left him. He made more money than she did. His name was on the house. He knew she didn't have the resources to dispute him in court for very long. So he drew the process out for as long as possible until my mom ended up homeless and living in her car. She lost custody of all 3 of us, and had to move to another state to stay with her sister because she couldn't find work here without an address. He cut her off from us and we didn't talk for years. As soon as my mom was gone, my dad began treating me the way he had treated her. It was a total switch from the man I'd grown up with. All of a sudden it was like he hated me. It took that total 180 degrees for me to realize what had happened between him and my mom. I pieced together everything over the next few years, went through some documents from the divorce that confirmed what I suspected. By the time I was 16 I started saving money to move out as soon as possible, and at midnight on my 18th I took my things and left. I later reconnected with my mom too. I've done pretty well for myself after leaving. I have a job, an apartment, a baby. I'm happy with my life. My sister contacted me a few days ago. She just turned 18 and she wanted to see me. We met at a park and talked for a while. When she asked me why I left, I tried to lie and come up with better answers, But she kept pressing, so I told her the truth, all of it, not sparing the details. She didn't respond well to it. She told me our dad would have never done those things, that our mom was the problem. She said she didn't believe me about any of it, and then she stormed off. I told our mom what happened, and she said that I shouldn't have told my sister at all. She thinks that it wasn't fair of me to shatter her reality like that, because she's just a kid and our dad is still her hero. I know what it's like to have that reality-shattering moment, and it sucks, but I mean, she asked for the truth. Was I wrong to give it to her? Not the asshole. She insisted that you tell her the real reason why you left. She's technically an adult. She should have expected the answer to be unpleasant, because why would you have left the minute you could otherwise? Not the asshole. It sucks, but you told an 18-year-old, not a 5-year-old. As long as you said factual things that you could share, you did nothing wrong. Your mother is wrong, but not an awe. I imagine what she went through is traumatic and probably colors how you should handle things. By the way, I understand and appreciate why you feel guilt for believing your father. However, for what's it's worth, you were an actual kid being manipulated by your father. That doesn't make things better for how your mother might feel, but it wasn't your fault. Am I the asshole for smoking in my backyard? Throwaway account just in case. I, F27, live in a house with my husband. I'm a heavy smoker, but I don't smoke in the house because my husband doesn't like the smell and I don't want him breathing secondhand smoke. He's a non-smoker. I usually smoke cigs in our backyard. One of our neighbors slid a passive-aggressive note through our letterbox last week, saying something along the lines of, "My children just wanted to play in our backyard. Thanks for exposing them to cancer, I hope you're happy." I had no idea which neighbor this was. None of our neighbors had talked to us about this. I decided to ignore the note and continue to smoke in my backyard. Then 4 days ago, one of our neighbors knocked on our door and complained, and said I shouldn't smoke in my backyard because their kids play in their backyard. I think my neighbor is being unreasonable. Our backyards are pretty large, and I smoke right in the center of my backyard, so the smoke has more space to disperse. I think my neighbor is only complaining because they can see me smoking over our fence. Am I the asshole? Edit to add. I don't have a front yard or a garage. Technically, if I smoked on my front porch, I'd be breaking the law in our country because there's a children's park less than 20 meters away. It's across the road right in front of my house. Edit to add. By cig, I meant cigarette, not cigar. I don't smoke cigars. Not the asshole. It's your yard. You're outside. Definitely not the asshole. P.S. No judgment, but I hope you quit one day, for your own health. Edit. Sincere congratulations to all of you Redditors replying to my comment with your stories of quitting. Whether you've been tobacco-free for 30 years or for 30 minutes. Good for you. Smelling other people's cigarette smoke is gross. I wouldn't want me or my kids breathing it in either. Yes, you're technically within your rights to smoke in your yard, but you're lying to yourself if you think it's not bothering or affecting other people in the vicinity. Am I the asshole for making my stepdaughter feel bad for eating all my snacks, drinks? My stepdaughter is 10. I'm 30F and I have diabetes, as well as other food allergies that prevent me from eating a very large variety of foods that are purchased for consumption in this household. The foods, snacks, drinks that I can eat usually tend to be on the more expensive side, and I have to spend way too much time shopping around for bargains so I can actually eat. My stepdaughter is fully aware that these are the only things I can eat, and we had no problems up until roughly 6 months ago. I have been in her life for 8 years, so yes, this is a new behavior. So my favorite food and drink is burritos and Diet Sprite. I can't have either of them due to my allergies, and it took me forever to find a brand that I could actually have. But due to the fact that both of these products are way too expensive, $19 for an 8-pack burrito and $12 for a 6-pack of the Sprite knockoff, I don't get them often at all. Maybe once every 3 months or so. I caught my stepdaughter eating and drinking both multiple times and had to sit her down and tell her that I didn't want her eating those, as they were expensive and for me specifically, and offered to buy her regular brand of the same items. She said yes, so I went out and bought them for her, just to find that she still was eating mine and not touching hers. I asked her why several times and she shrugged her shoulders and walks off, or says, "I don't see why it's a big deal, it's just food," and rolls her eyes. So I told my husband to do something about it, because he knows my dietary restrictions very well and knows how important not only that is but also how much I love those specific items and can't have them often. He speaks to her. Everything after that seemed fine. However, I just bought the burritos and knockoff organic Sprite again yesterday. I went to go get myself some around 10 p.m., when my stepdaughter was supposed to be in bed. The entire liter was gone. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I go into my stepdaughter's room and she is sitting with not only the Sprite in her lap but 2 burritos as well. This is when I noticed everything else. My green tea sitting on the floor gone. My meal containers that I had packed for work under her bed and on her dresser. I thought I was going fucking mental because I couldn't find them anywhere, and turns out she has been eating them. I've gone many days at work without food because of this. So I told her I had never been so absolutely disappointed and repulsed that someone could lack that much respect and empathy for another individual, and walked out. I woke my husband. He went down and saw everything but came up and started screaming at me because apparently I made his kid cry and now he is worried about her developing anxiety about eating. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but this is family therapy time, not AITA time. Something is up with a 10-year-old hoarding food, especially just your food. No need to put up with it, but sounds like you'll need a therapist to work with her. Not the asshole at all. How dare your husband yell at you when you are being left with no food? You bought her own snacks and she is still eating yours. Time to get a refrigerator with a padlock on it for the garage. She seems to have targeted your food for whatever reason, and it's not going to stop with just talk. Not the asshole. While your husband may be worried about her developing anxiety, I think you guys both missed the boat. Something happened. What you are describing is not normal behavior. It is likely time to talk to a therapist at this point. And as others are mentioning, consider a small fridge, freezer that you can lock away from her.